Good morning everybody and welcome to my Facebook Live today. My name is Jenny McCormack and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm based in Brackley in Northamptonshire, which is obviously in the UK. If you're joining me live, you will see a little red live rectangle on the top left hand side of your screen. Feel free to comment and ask any questions as we go along. If you're watching me on replay or on YouTube later, obviously I'm not live at that point, but you're still absolutely welcome to ask any questions. Just pop them in the comments and I check those on a regular basis. So good morning to you. It's a rather damp and dull day again this morning, but let's hope the sun will break through later on. So today we are continuing some fun with Hand Penned Petals. Bit of a mouthful to say in one go. But there's so many variations you can do with this. I had a good play yesterday using some of the die cuts and some different techniques. So keep an eye out because we'll be featuring this for at least a couple more sessions this week. Very versatile stamp set indeed. Today I thought we'd case the catalogue. And the card that I'm going to case is on page 104, and it's this one here, and it does say on there anything is possible from the stamp set itself. I am going to change the colours round, mainly because I was looking at the papers, and the papers that go with this are gorgeous, and I picked up this one which is really pretty, but I also love the reverse of this with the Blushing Bride. So I've chosen the Blushing Bride as my main theme for this card. So my plan is to use a white card base. I'm going to have my strip of paper that you can see is really just hidden here either way round. I quite like the solid side, but I might also put it the other way around, and then have this rectangle here is going to be in Blushing Bride. So I've actually reversed the excuse me, the colours round slightly, just for something slightly different. And I've cut these out with our stitched rectangles, but I don't yet know which one I'm going to use. I think probably the larger one would be better. Okay, so let's get cracking. What I'm going to do to start with is stamp the two main stamp images, quickly colour them in and die cut them. Let me keep that page open. So let's have a look. Morning Brenda, morning Monica. There we go. So I'm just going to start by simply stamping that and doing some quick colouring in. So I do have some more techniques to show you for colouring in, and we also have these lovely die cuts that I'm going to be using later in the week. So there's lots of fun to be had with this set, I have to say. I think I'm going to use the larger block, and I'm going to use this slightly larger stamp here. And just for speed, I'm going to infill with the stamps this time rather than colouring them in. I am just going to grab a foam mat Morning, Katie. So I hope everybody is well and had a good weekend. There we go, I've got plenty of space on there. So I'm just going to stamp 2 of these. So I'm just going to ink these up. Hope that's clear enough. Let's move this out of the way. So I'm just using Early Espresso for my outlines. Morning, Catherine, and morning, Carol. So I'm just going to pop these in. I did do a brief live yesterday evening about 7:30, which you can find by scrolling back through my Facebook page to show you the projects for this month's Class in a Box. So if you didn't see that, that's still available to view. And that features the Pansy Petals suite. Okay, so I've just stamped those. I haven't decided on my sentiment, so I'm going to do that towards the end. And the colours I've brought in soft succulent for the leaves, and I've actually got, that's petal pink, not brushing bright. Oh dear. Ooh. I've got 2 Blushing Bride ink pads because I've got a feeling one of my Blushing Bride inks is really dirty. It's obviously got contaminated from something, hasn't it? Good morning, Louise, and good morning, Sue. How did you guess that, Brenda? Brenda was asking, do I prefer to using Early Espresso to black? And the answer is absolutely. Early Espresso is a much softer, natural colour for outlines, I feel, especially for leaves and things like that. You don't often see black edges of leaves. Not that you see Early Espresso, but it's a much more natural colour. So I'm just going to quickly pop these in. So Sue, I've been watching you with your amazing move and your fantastic photographs of your new location. Really fabulous. I've got a hair running across there and it's divided that, but I'm not too worried about it. Right, so I'm just going to colour this fairly swiftly. So I'm going to use this one for the next layer down. And these aren't an exact match. So there is to give the feeling of a watercolour effect. Okay, let's take the next one down. Just this one here. And again, just filling them in. If you are doing multiple cards, it is much easier to do them at the same time. So do all of the stamping and then all of one colour or one stamp, changing colours, and work your way through. It's a much quicker way of doing it. All right, I'm looking for the double flower. So there's one that does those 2 flowers together, there and there. I'm going to keep this to the single colour, but it would be very easy to colour in different layers, as I have done already on some of the other cards we've made. if you saw the other day, I just carried on stamping most of the evening. Right, oh, I need the leaves next. So there's two leaves, a large one and a small one. And again, it's not an exact match, and I'll use soft succulent for this one. Yes, very jealous, Sue, of all your wildlife. I think you said there was a pine marten or something. And I don't think I've ever seen a pine marten. So for these leaves, I'm going to stamp once full strength and then once second generation, just to get that effect. So that's the large ones. I'm going to do the same on here. As I say, it's a really soft watercolour effect. You can use your blends pens, as I have on this one, and as I showed on Thursday, I think it was. So you can choose between the soft look of just watercolour stamping effectively, or the blends pens. And tomorrow I'm actually going to do some watercolouring as well. So it's another way of using this stamp set or these images. Okay, so I'm just going to do these ones again, exactly the same way. I'm going to stamp one full strength and one as a second generation, and it just gives that little bit of interest. I could have done that with the flowers as well, couldn't I? Never mind. And then just one on there, like so. I have to say, it's blowing a gale outside, but the sun has come out for the minute. But it was raining this morning. But we did manage to escape most of the rain yesterday. There we go. So there's my two sets of images. I'm going to pop that away for a minute. And the ink pad. That really is an old one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these out on my die cutting machine. Or just move it over. So I'll have to do these individually because I've got one die obviously for that design. There are some great dies in here, so watch out for some more die cutting ideas. And it's also got this lovely edge, a stitch and scalloped edge. Really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to use some of my magic tape to hold this in place. Stick that on there. And there. So this is like a masking tape, but it's a removable one. So it's perfect for die cutting because it doesn't stick to your card. So just positioning that. Like so. Find my top plate and pop it through. So what did everybody get up to at the weekend, just while I'm running this through? I know quite a few people were crafting because the weather at the weekend wasn't very ideal for going out and meeting family. Okay, so just pull this off and reuse this. So you can see how it doesn't tear the paper at all, like so. And the other one. Lots of bits that I need to clear out. Wow, Brenda's still using her original Erling Espresso ink pad. That is very impressive. Morning, Jill. Thanks for joining us. I know you're busy bee. Okay, pop that on there and run that one through as well. So we're casing the catalogue today, and casing can mean lots of different things to lots of different people. Some say it's copy and selectively edit. Some say copy and share everything. So the idea is that you take an example somebody else has done, whether that's, you know, Stampin' Up or a demonstrator, and then you basically replicate that in your own way. You can replicate it as is, or you can change things up. So this is the one that I'm casing, just this one here. Okay, so let's have a look at our layers, how this is going to go. So this is just so pretty, this petal pink. So I have a white layer. It's going to be my base card. I nearly made it not petal pink, blushing bride, but that was too much pink on pink. Okay, and now I've got this layer here, which I am definitely going to put that blushing bride side down. And then I have two pieces, and I only cut out two because I wasn't sure on the sizing. So I'm just going to play with this a little bit. So I could put this in the center with this here, and they had the flowers sort of tumbling off like so. It's really pretty. Okay, so I think this one is definitely too small, but you could have that as one on its own with a little sentiment down here. I think that would look really pretty. But I'm going to go for the larger one, and I could actually emboss that. So the question is, am I going to put this to the left or the center? So I can have it slightly offset like that, so you see more of it, which I'm quite liking. And then this is going to go off the top here, and then off the bottom here. So I'm going to overlap these. I could fussy cut round that to take that little stalk off. I might do that, rather than just cover it up for the sake of it. And then they had a sentiment across the middle. So any thoughts on whether this should be at the left hand side or in the middle? I am just going to fussy cut around that, just so I've got something a little bit different. So I don't want to cover up too much. There we go. In fact, then that looks almost like it's a complete sort of piece, isn't it? Okay, so do you think we should have it on the left or in the centre? Oh, Jill's just got the ironing board out. Oh dear. Oh, Louise, I am so sorry. Bless you, my darling. I really feel for you. I know she was quite poorly, wasn't she? But even so, it's still a shock. I'm glad you were able to be with her, though. Just let you know, know that we're thinking of you, and let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Brenda needs a new ink pad or a refill. Okay, so I'm thinking of going along those lines in the centre, but I'll wait and see if anybody else has any other comment. Let's look for a little sentiment to go across there. Catherine says left, Carol says both. Let's see what anybody else might think. So that's a little bit small. I quite like that sort of combination. I could do with one in between those two sizes. Of course, that's a little bit too small. Circular one. Let's have a look at these little, I did cut out a whole bunch of these tags the other day. Let's see if I've got a smaller, there's a white tag. Quite like that little bit of grey on, but I tell you what I have is so I have a little one of those little like reinforcers in soft succulent, so that would just tie that in nicely, wouldn't it? Done. Assuming my sentiment will fit. Okay, so last orders for left or centre. Ooh, quite a few lefts. Okay. Like so. Okay, let's do that. So I'm going to apply this and then trim the bottom off after. Oh, this is a rather poor cutting here. Let me just grab my emery board. So obviously picked up one of my many trimmers, and I haven't replaced that blade. Okay, so I'm going to pop that on there. I think I'll just use a little bit of wet glue. I have to keep refreshing my screen because the comments don't come up automatically like they used to, neither on my laptop or on my phone. Just making sure I've got enough glue there. Let me just pop this mat underneath. Okay, so that's the opening for the card. That's the blue side. So just putting that on there like that. Okay, and I'm going to trim this little bit off just with the scissors, putting my scissors against the card to use as a guide. Let's put that to one side. Okay, so that's my layer there. Then I'm going to use this one. I could put this through an embossing machine embossing folder. What do you think? Just to give it a little bit more interest. I think I might do that. Let's see what I've got to hand. I've got Old World, which makes it look like sort of paper, crushed paper. So let's use that one, but a floral one would be nice, but then I've got quite a lot of floral going on here, so let's just pop that in there. Using the embossing folder is a great way just to add a little bit of interest and texture. The right combination. Excuse me while I just pop that through the machine. The other mat, always the way. I'm just using our thicker embossing plate. That's better. So I was always taught to use the wording BLT, not bacon, lettuce and tomato, but background, layer and texture, as a really good way of creating a card that will work every time. So the background could be background paper, it could be background stamping, layer, so that you've got either a layer, and it can be flat, it doesn't have to be on dimensionals, and then some sort of texture. So that texture could be embossing, but it could be a ribbon, it could be addition of gems, anything like that. So BLT is how I was taught. So which side of this am I going to have? Hope you can see that definition in there. I'm going to have it on that side. So I'm going to put that flat down, but with some wet glue, just to make sure it has a good solid connection with the card underneath. So I'm going to pop that on there, like so. Give it a good press. Make sure your fingers are clean when you do that though. And then I'm going to layer up my flowers. So I think I'm going to do like so, and my little sentiment maybe across there. So I'm going to put my flowers up on dimensionals. While I'm here and I've got a bit of glue, I'm just going to put this little tag onto there. So this is from our new Tailored Tags dies, which I used last week on one of our projects, and it cuts out 8 different sizes of dies, 2 styles, and then you also get these little reinforcers. So for this it's perfect to bring in that soft succulent colour. And I do also have some soft succulent ribbon, which I could thread through there. Okay, let me grab some dimensionals. Oh, cheers, Carol. Thanks for joining us if you're still here. Okay, yeah, so BLT is something I used for many, many years when I first started card making. But there's plenty of other acronyms, I'm sure. Okay, so I'm just peeling those off there. So I like the way this goes over the edge of that. I'm going to do this one that way round so it doesn't look like I've obviously just done the same thing. And you could add Wink of Stella to this. I'll probably add a few gems as well. And that would count as your texture if you wanted it to. Okay, so reversing that one round. Just putting out that so it's cascading down. Okay, and then I don't want to cover that up really. Right, let's pop a sentiment on there. And anything is possible will fit. And I think thanks might be a little bit too tall. A little bit squashed. Okay, so there's that one, and I'm going to do that in early espresso because I want it to stand out. I just need to find it. Ink pad. There we go. So I think we find out today what the restrictions are or will be lifted for us in the UK for next week. So I know a lot of people are very excited about that, certainly for businesses, for our in-person classes. It will make a huge difference. Okay, so I could put that on like that, but I think I might add a little bit of ribbon. So this is from the In Colour ribbon, so pretty, and you'll get some of this ribbon in my class in a box this month, and you can also get it through the In Colour Club as well. So that's where for 5 consecutive months you can build up all your supplies of In Colour product. So it includes the ink pad, the marker pen, card, ribbon, gems, designer paper. So I think I'm just going to knot this to keep it simple because there's quite a lot going on as is, like that. Obviously when you're doing it, don't waste as much ribbon as I just have. There we go. But obviously you can use these pieces. Just take a little bit of linen thread and wrap it around the centre like so, and you'll get a little bow. Okay, so this is going to go on there. I think I might pop it in. Looks a bit low, that's the only thing, on my rule of sort of thirds. Or maybe right down there. Just don't want to cover everything up. Sorry, I'm being very indecisive this morning. Sorry. Oh, it's the tailored tags you've ordered, Carol. Yeah, I'm just going to put that on the left hand side. There we go, so just flatten that. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I didn't want an extra dimensional on the right hand side because this is on dimensionals already. Let's see if I can just trim that out. There we go. And I'm just going to pop some glue on here. That's what I intended to do. I hope that's in the shot. And there we go. That is today's cased project from the catalogue. So if ever I'm stuck for ideas, one thing I do always do is have a look at the catalogue and see if that brings me any inspiration, either for the same stamp set or for a different stamp set, so you can combine those. It's not sitting quite as I want it. Just going to put a tiny bit under there. And then I might knock out a few gems to finish it off. Go out of there. That's better. There we go. Anything is possible. Now I do have the light green gems to match the soft succulent. I think that's exactly what I'm going to use, because then I've got three. I've got the ribbon, I've got the leaves, and this one. And on the pink, I've got this one, and the colour. So if something doesn't look quite right on your card, remember the rule of 3 or an odd number, but it does work particularly well if you've used multiple colours and they're not quite, it doesn't feel quite balanced enough. Then see if you can pick out 3 of any one colour, and if you've got 2 of one, then try and add something in. So it could be a bit of ribbon, it just could be a bit of you know, spritzing or something. There we go, I got there. So I hope you can see that. I hope you like it. Let me show you the one. It's almost quite different from the one in the catalogue. So this was the catalogue. They've actually got theirs coming round that way, and they've added ribbon. So I have changed it up slightly. I've got my cascades going down that way, and I've just used basically the 2 colours, apart from white, obviously, and early espresso. I've just used Blushing Bride and Soft Succulent. So there we go. I hope you like my card. Thank you so much for joining me today. Jill does like the new pink, and she's not a pinky fan. Oh, hi Kay, thank you. Thanks Brenda and Carol. So thank you so much for joining me today. As I say, if you'd like to see our Class in a Box projects, you can see them in my most recent Facebook Live. So it'll be the penultimate one to this one, when this one is finalised. So if you want to have a look at that and join, you're most welcome. So it's £20 for the class. I do also offer a tutorial version only for people outside of the UK, so that you can order the tutorial and join in with the online class. So thank you so much. I will be back tomorrow. So it is, let me see, 20 to 11 on Monday the 10th of May. Quite a lot of birthdays are happening today. So happy birthday to anybody who is celebrating. I will be back tomorrow at 7 PM UK time, and I will be doing more with the hand pens, and I'll be working with the dies and seeing what we can come up with. Thank you so much for joining me today. Do take care. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day if you're in the UK, or if you're up very early in America or Canada. And if you're joining from Australia, then enjoy your evening. Thank you so much, everybody. Do take care. Look after yourselves, look after your loved ones. Special love to Louise today for losing her mum yesterday or over the weekend. Thinking of you, Louise. And I look forward to crafting with everybody again really soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.